Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Niels and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Andang,
Hey, everybody.
Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
and please welcome our special guest tonight, coming all the way from Malaysia, Hoffel.
Greetings.
Welcome, Hoffel. And
Thank you.
welcome to the show, and we'll begin with our little initiation.
Pun, if you make it sound more devious every single time we go through this, I swear.
As it is, yes, we wish to ask how you got into Tolkien, into LOTRO, and into the LOTRO community.
All right. Well, before I begin, when I went on Casual Stroll Mordor for the first time, I was the first Asian caller. I just want to know, am I the first Asian guest?
Maybe. I don't know the statistics.
Well, I guess it also depends on what your definition of Asian is.
From Southeast Asia, I suppose.
Okay, but not Oceania.
No.
Okay, Oceania is excluded. I just want to make sure of that.
Either way, we don't know, so I don't know why Pundit's asking this question. But...
I'll claim it anyway, and we'll move on. All right. Tolkien, well, as you know, it's I'm from Malaysia, so Lord of the Rings isn't really something that's pretty big. And I'm going to be really different from everyone else and say that I got into Tolkien not by reading the books first, but by actually watching the movies first when it came out. I think I would have been 2001 when Fellowship of the Ring came out. So after watching that, I just fell in love with the story and everything. So I went and retroactively bought the books and read them. So that's my introduction into the world of Middle-earth.
Did you read them in English or in Malaysian?
In English, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think any Malaysian could translate that into Bahasa, which is the local language. So yeah, as for LOTRO, I first started. Well, I discovered LOTRO in 2009 actually. When I'm not sure if you guys remember, there used to be a 14-day free-to-play trial, and back then it was my first year in college, and I only had enough money to play one of two games. It was either going to be that really popular MMO from 2004, or it's going to be LOTRO. That's it. So I checked out the free-to-play. And for whatever reason, I didn't commit to it. So I waited a whole year playing something else. And then I think late 2010, I stumbled upon this advertisement, which had this actor playing Gandalf. And it was the You Shall Not Pay ad. I'm not sure if you guys know that.
That one's really good.
Yeah. I don't know how I came across it. Probably YouTube. And that's when I thought, okay, you know what? I've put this off long enough. I have the financial means now to get a subscription and start playing, but it had gone free to play anyway, so that was how I got into LOTRO then, knowing that it went free to play in late 2010. LOTRO community, well, this is really, really simple. I mean, I just probably searched for guides or something, and I came across all these awesome blogs and podcasts, and at the time, I think 2010, 11, there were so many different podcasts. But I was an avid listener of CSTM, so that's how I discovered, the out of the game community scene and stuff happening in Landroll, player events, and that's what really got me thinking. Okay, you know what? If I want to join this stuff, I got to go to Landroll and check out the music scene, for example. There, head to Weatherstock for the first time. So that's my discovery of the LOTRO community.
Cool. So you've also done LOTRO content creation, if you can talk about that for a bit.
Sure. It's really down. Well, to be fair, I'm an introvert, and playing LOTRO has sort of given me that sort of confidence to start blogging about the game. And special thanks to CSDM too, because when I discovered them, I'm like, wow, okay, there's people actually blogging about the game they play, and they don't look nerdy at all. And I thought, okay, I could do this too. So I started a LOTRO blog back in mid 2011, and I'm not active on it now, but I've been putting out, just small type of content. Only recently I got into making videos for LOTRO, just doing little guides here and there, little PVMP videos. And now with Game Reviews Malaysia, it's basically the channel itself is just for Malaysians, because when I look around, there wasn't too many channels coming out with game reviews from, covering games from a local point of view. And because my niche is the MMO sphere and LOTRO is one of the core games that I play, I decided to come up with a couple of videos, and the 10 reasons to play LOTRO was essentially the first LOTRO content that I put out, because being a game reviewer, I jump from game to game a lot. And I sat down and thought, you know what, LOTRO has been one of those games that I've been coming and going from for like 6 years. So there's got to be a reason why I keep coming back. So that 10 reasons to play LOTRO is essentially me sitting down writing the 10 reasons why I keep coming back to this game.
That's awesome. And you also, cover all sorts of other MMOs, and it seems like you just have, this real pride and drive to make, this Malaysian gaming front where you're creating, content as a person from Malaysia.
Yeah.
How did you get that drive, and, how does that affect how you create content?
Well, it's really simple. I mean, I used to read a lot of gaming magazines for one, and I'm not sure how big these magazines are over there, but there's PC Gamer in the States and the UK, and I used to read this stuff a lot in Malaysia. And then they went out of print, the local edition especially, so I looked around, did some research, and there wasn't really anybody locally that's going to cover games, because to me as a gamer, when I'm having a downtime or when I'm on the way to work, I want to read or I want to watch or listen to something that's going to talk about games and the industry and what's the new thing on the market that's hot and cool or cheap or whatever. And there wasn't anybody doing it. Even if there was, it wasn't in the English language, which I thought, okay, I suppose I could be the one to take that front and cover games from an English perspective, but also covering the local stuff too. So that was really my drive to start the channel and go from there. And for MMOs, I picked it up and made it sort of the forte of my channel, because Malaysians, when it comes to MMOs, it's more towards the PvP type, the MOBA type. So Dota 2 is really popular down here, same as League of Legends, and then you have the Counter-Strikes, and the only other MMO that people really play down here is World of Warcraft. And I'm here thinking, there's more MMOs out there than just this one. So I take it upon myself to sort of spread the word about the other games.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anything else you want to talk about before we move on?
No, just happy to be here.
Awesome.
All right, then let's head us into our game news for this week, and we will begin with Update 19, which has been released.
Yes, Pineleaf. Update 19 came out on Tuesday and has a few bugs, but for the most part, it seems to be a pretty good release. So, Pineleaf, why don't you start us off with first impressions of Update 19?
First impressions of 19 is that so far I've been liking it very much. I have been doing quite a bit of, let's say, house decorating.
As have a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yes, as have a lot of people right now. So I've been working on that quite a bit. I've been doing the questing in there, and I don't think I've run into as many ultra annoying quests as I've had in some other recent updates. So I haven't gotten all the way through yet, but it's good to be able to go through Osgiliath, A, with Sunshine, and B, being able to go more than 5 steps without being attacked by an orc or an Easterling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've found this update to be really a return to their high quality side quest areas. It starts off with some really cool quests both in the epic and in side quests, and just seems to do a really good job. I haven't gotten too far yet, but I'm really looking forward to. I'm loving the content flow right now, and I'm just getting through it and enjoying every second of it pretty much so far. It's just been a great update. Terry or Maven, what do you think about this update?
I'm loving it. I really am. I think you're right about some of the side quests are really interesting. Um, I had done some of it on Bull Roar already, but there was ones that I had either hadn't done or weren't up yet that were nice surprises to come to. But I think also the way they've handled a lot of the book stuff is just it's all really good. And like I'm now focused on gathering tokens from the hosts of the West for furniture.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I
understand
got my hunter's guide, so I've got both of the guides that they give out, and then I made sure I got my reps so I could start getting the stuff I want for my houses. So I'm with you, Pine Leaf. And I've started grinding for Minas Tirith pieces too, and Dol Amroth pieces, specifically for furniture. So, but anyway, I'm
yeah.
really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spoil what's in this cinematic that I'm about to talk about, but the first cinematic that you get is
Oh,
just
wow.
epic.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
amazing.
It
It's
was
fantastic.
awesome. Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
One of my favorite cinematics from LOTRO by far, and it really surprised me because they haven't had very many cinematics with Gondor, except for like Battle at Pelennor Fields, but other than that, they really haven't had any since Helm's Deep. And so it was cool to see, just this really high quality and engaging cinematic. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Havel, how about you?
Yeah, great, everybody. I'm enjoying the update. I think it's great. Again, with everybody, the side quest, the quality has improved since the last update. I think the hub crawl, is what I call it, is really cohesive, and the landscape is just gorgeous. And the new mechanic that they introduced, where you gotta pick flowers to barter for stuff, I think that really added something. So on the way to and fro, because I'm not gonna spoil anything too much, but you're gonna be doing a lot of traveling here and there. So the idea of picking up those flowers as you go along is totally fine with me, because I'm able to just see the scenery, and it's great. I haven't checked out premium housing though.
It gives you more incentive to ride cross country now.
Yes, totally. Yep.
And I gotta say, I won't say where it is yet, but there is a perfect title for Sarissa. Sarissa's gonna be so excited when she gets to that point, because it is the perfect title for Sarissa. The burglar.
Oh. What I really loved was the emote that you get at the end of the epic.
Oh yes. I've been spamming that a lot.
Yeah.
I think honestly, just the fact that the Dawnless Day is gone has made possibly the biggest difference.
No kidding.
The biggest difference. It's amazing how just having like a cloud roof above your head at all times for like the last 2 years can make the content seem so much more depressing compared
I
to.
totally agree.
But then,
and
so
speaking
Sauron
of which,
succeeded.
and Dawnless Day, the other thing that was cool was I was thinking about when Pineleaf said about Osgiliath. I swam. I jumped in the water in Osgiliath and swam around. It was so awesome.
but I mean, at the same time, part of me is kind of glad we had the Dawnless Day because of how much we realized that we took for granted sunlight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost
True.
like Moria all over again, where we're just like, wow, this really is one of the most beautiful places in all of Middle-earth, and we're finally able to see it in all of its Sauron-wrecked glory. I mean, it's just...
I find myself getting annoyed when the sun goes down. It's like, no, I don't want nighttime.
I know.
Bring the sun back.
I literally waited about probably 40 minutes to start my first episode of my series because I was like, there's no way I'm going to start this series that got rid of the Dawnless Day at night. There's no way. So I decided to wait for sunshine, and I was glad I did.
Well, at least if it is nighttime,
You can actually see the stars.
yeah, you
It's
can
still
see the
way better.
stars.
Yeah.
It's still way better.
Someone on Chad Meiser was pointing out the constellations, and I'm like, what, really?
Yeah, they actually took the time to make real constellations that apply to Middle-earth, and I don't know how they did all that stuff, but it's awesome that they did. They talked about it very briefly in like a launch, Shadows of Angmar launch article or video or something. I don't remember what it was, but they talked about going into all that stuff, and it's just crazy.
Wow.
all right. Anyone else have any other thoughts about Update 19? we will, of course, have a full review
In about a month.
in about a month. So at that time, we will go deeper into our impressions and see if our first impressions hold as time wears on. But we also have a little look at the new map of Mordor.
This is so cool. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. 2017 cannot get here quick enough, Pineleaf. I mean, this... have you seen this map? It's so cool.
Yeah, I've seen the map.
I have never heard Andang squee before. Oh my goodness! But I have to admit that it's a good reason to.
I mean, the different color set, we haven't seen this type of color set on a map before, makes me wonder how they're going to be doing all of Mordor, and the whole map is there. I'm really wondering how big that expansion is, if some of this is going to be side zones added later or before, or if it's all going to be in the expansion, or, you know, how that's all going to work. I am super excited. This is a huge landscape. I mean, compared to... I would say that this area of Mordor on this map could probably house both Rohan expansions, is my guesstimate as far as how big this is.
All right. Well, that would be an interesting thing to find out. But until then, we will have to wait a while. But we will, of course, have our store weekly sales. And what's on sale this week, Terry? Terry says, what?
Terry, you might be muted. Or
That's right, I was
there we
muted.
go.
Sorry. No, sorry, I forgot I was muted. Free sample this week is Regeneration Food ×1. Use coupon code GOODEATS, GOODEATZ,
Nope.
1 time per account. I completely approve of that spelling of good eats, by the way, with the Z. 2 paws up from my work.
Only way to spell it.
Only way to spell it, yeah. 25% off milestone skills, hurried returning and expedient traveler, riding traits, and simple rally horn. Woohoo!
All right. And then let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with community events for October 21st through 27. And anybody have anything that they found particularly interesting here?
Real quick, I do want to remind everyone that we do now have specific server calendars for each different server that'll lay out all the events for you on a Google Calendar, and you can also look through the article, and if you hit Control F and then type in your server name, you'll be able to just hit enter and cycle through all the events on your server that way as well. So great ways to find out your events on your server, and there's just a lot of fantastic events in here this week. Like, for example, on Landerville, on what day is this? Tomorrow, Sunday, so this won't be very effective to later podcast users, but there's actually a Western and Central Gondor roving threat raid that they're doing at 2:30 p.m. in Western and Central Gondor, which is pretty cool. And basically they just type in /world and they're able to join up with this huge raiding group. And I think it's awesome that, you know, simple things like that where you're just going around the landscape and killing stuff can be put in community events and really, you know, promoted by the community. I think that's pretty cool.
All right, then let's head into LOTRO Academy, episode 135. Sanswinda asks, part 3. Sanswinda has a lot of questions, doesn't she?
Yes, some might say a limitless amount of questions. but no, it's awesome. I'm so glad that Sanswinda joined the LOTRO Academy team. It has been such a great show, and she's just really added a lot of that new player perspective that the Academy has had, but, you know, in recent times it feels like, you know, you've kind of become more experts on the game, and so it's nice to have that new player perspective return back.
Right. And then we also have another episode of Creator's Journey, number 44. Overqualified by a mile as the eagles fly.
That's a long way.
Yeah, that's Okay. Another one of those rather weird names that you might not even understand after you read the comic.
In fact, there's a really good chance you might not still understand after reading the comic, but it's still worth reading anyway. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
And
Go,
there's also,
Maven. Just go for it.
Yeah, go for it. It's
Oh,
on your
sorry.
set?
No, I was trying to get my cat to not walk on my keyboard.
Still
Oh.
relevant.
Still relevant. Yes.
Yeah, with critters, that's definitely relevant. Sometimes I wonder if that's where the dialogue is written. Then let's head to the family line. Part 105, Bittersweet Escape.
I don't know, Pineleaf.
It's your usual commentary on the family line, isn't it?
This
Yeah.
is our usual commentary, is that Tim's awesome and you should read whatever he writes, because
Yes.
Tim's awesome.
All right, so let's then head into our new player question. And Maven, do you have a question this week?
I do have a question this week. I realized the other day when I was looking at essences, and they had like this awesome supreme essence of fate. I was like, why do I care about fate? And I thought, you know what? My buddies at LPN will be able to tell me that. So what is fate? I mean, what does fate do, and how much should I care about it? Now,
Well,
I
fate-
assume that probably goes by class, but
I was going to say Fate is a role-playing system that we...
Well, I was going to say, fate is a predetermined destiny, so you should probably care about your destiny just a little bit. But no,
How
Pineleaf,
about
you
other
got
than
this,
that?
Pineleaf.
Well, Fate is sort of one of those...
Maybe you don't
It's hard
have
to
this,
put your
Pineleaf.
grab on... Right. It's hard to... Because Fate isn't exactly one of those with too much that hits you on the head as to what it does
Right,
for you.
right.
So I think things are more subtle in how stuff. Now, one of the things it does help you with though is in your in combat regeneration.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Power and morale both, or the others?
I believe it's both. So therefore,
Oh,
it's useful for that. And I remember they revamped Fate back a few years ago. I think it might also affect some other minor things, but I can never remember what those other things are.
The other
Crit rating
thing
and
that
tactical mitigation.
Ah, okay. Okay. So it does have use.
We didn't get that quite clear, Terry, if you could repeat that again real quick.
Critical rating and tactical mitigation.
Absolutely. So there you go.
Good answer.
I might
Okay.
be logged into the game and can look at my character sheet at the moment.
Just maybe. Probably not, though. I doubt it.
It's not like I'm working last minute on outfits I'm supposed to have done tomorrow.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not, yeah. All right, then let's into our weekend LOTRO and ending. What were you up to, as if it's not obvious from what news we had this week?
Yes, Pineleaf. Well, I did start my March of the King series, and thank you all so much who have already watched it. This is already like 6 or 7 times more popular than any previous LOTRO series I've done up to this point. It's just being shared like crazy, so thank you all so much for your support. That is just amazing, and really enjoying the new format that I got going, and it seems to be really growing my channel because I've just been getting constantly new subscribers, like 20 a day at this point. It's just absolutely amazing. So thank you everyone that's been subscribing to my channel over at Andang, youtube.com/AndangLP. Thank you all so much. That's just super cool. Also this week, I hit over 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is just amazing. Still can't believe that's the case. So thank you all so much for your support. Also, streamed with Bloodborne, and we had a lot of fun going through stuff once again. We were actually very productive this week because the quests that we were going through in Breland are so much more efficient than the ones we were doing in Arid Lewin previously. So that went really, really effectively, and we got a lot of stuff done, and we're already ready to be moving into the Lone Lands, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've done this week. Terry, what have you been up to? And you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, and Discord keeps not wanting to unmute me. I transferred my warg from Gladden to Arkenstone and did a... I'm not muted now, right? Okay.
No, you're
Right.
Transferred my warg from Gladden to Arkenstone. Did a brief quest run in the moors to see if I could remember how to play my warg, and I didn't get lost, and I also didn't die. So it was like about a half an hour of not dying. So that was really encouraging. And started Volume 4, Book 2 with Sanswinda and my Runekeeper. We entered Central Gondor, and it's funny because you were talking about the Dawnless, the not having the Dawnless Day, and it not wanting to start your new series at night because it was no longer Dawnless Day. We're getting ready to go into Central Gondor, and I look at Titan Bar, which has how long it's going to be, whatever time of day it is, and it's evening in 14 minutes to midnight, and it's like, oh, it's the middle of the night, and we're going into the Dawnless Day. But yeah, you can still really tell the difference that it just gets so dark when you cross over the border. And festival grind for the new horse has begun, although Sarissa managed to get it by exchanging leftover tokens. So she has the horse, but I want all the War Steed cosmetics because she's going to be stuck at 75 for however many forevers. So I figure I might as well get the War Steed cosmetics. And that's going to be a grind because it's 4 pieces and each of them is the same price as the horse. So it's 240 tokens altogether to get the new horse for if you want the War Steed. Yeah, if you want the War Steed cosmetics. Yeah, and that was my week. So, Haffel, what were you up to?
Well, this week I pulled a marathon on Update 19 release, and I finished the entire update in a day and a half, and absolutely enjoyed it, as I was saying earlier, and also, did a good job picking up flowers because I got my full armor set, which is an upgrade, and I have to say that I've only recently came back to LOTRO, so I was still using the Dol Amroth slotted gear, and I haven't done any of the Pelennor raid and stuff like that, so I don't have any of those shiny stuff. So the flower armor set was of an upgrade, so I made it a point to go and farm those flowers to get them. And the funny thing is, like, there's 2 flowers that are really important if you want to get the armor. It's called Sapphire and Amber, Phials of Sapphire and Amber. And while playing through the update, I sort of noticed where they would spawn, and I was taking videos and stuff, so I was going to make a guide about it. Like, okay, guys, here are the locations where you want to come back every 5 or 10 minutes and pick these flowers up. So that's after I got my armor. And within an hour of doing that, Turbine removed those 2 flowers out of the game because the drop rates were insane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's because they did notice that there was an issue because that was a bug that those flowers were so common.
Yeah. So I guess I'm one of the lucky ones who just got the armor and have more to spare. Sadly, I can't, pass it along. But yeah, Monday is coming back, but it's going to have a reduced drop rate. But there are locations where they drop, so maybe I'll put out that guide anyway. Who knows? So besides that, Fall Festival, I've been back in the Haunted Burrow just doing my thing. And reason why I really want those tokens is to stock up on kites. And there's a reason for this. A friend of mine on Landrevel managed to sell a kite on the AH for like 400 gold.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was going through the auction house just for kicks. I typed in kite, and I'm saying, oh, what?
Yeah, imagine what the prices would be like maybe months from now when, if the Yule Festival doesn't have a kite, we could be making a lot of money. Because it was probably a good idea for me to just start farming and just keeping them, hoarding the kites and the bat pet as well. I think that's a cool looking pet. Everybody should get one.
Or
Yeah,
everybody will
absolutely.
be out of gold because of the premium housing upkeep costs for gold, and so they'll just have no more.
You know, speaking about premium housing, have you guys noticed on your server there are people who are buying the houses and then renting it out to other players?
What?
What?
Yeah, it's a thing. It is a thing.
It,
Okay.
timeshare on the premium houses. Okay. How does that work?
I suppose somebody just buys it with mithril coins, and then they just advertise on World Chat like, okay, you guys, I'll give you full permission to the house. You won't
Right.
get a travel skill, but you got to pay me what 300 gold a month or whatever. So I suppose that's how it works. And I'm not sure why, unless you really want a premium house, but you don't want to cough up the mithril coins to buy it, then I suppose this
See,
is
I
a
don't see the
viable way.
advantage there. I mean, you don't get any more storage space in premium house.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just location.
But if you're gonna have a timeshare, you want it in Gondor on the coast.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
out of all the places for a timeshare, that's the place.
Yeah, that's right. You want a timeshare in your very own bank vault in the Bay of Belfalas.
Yeah, and once Aragorn is restored as king, property values are gonna go through the roof. I mean, it's just gonna be great.
No, I was just really disappointed there was no Rohan housing. That's my favorite part of the
Maybe
lore.
Yeah.
coming. Maybe
I
coming.
hope.
They're gonna see how the Gondor housing goes first. So everybody buy Gondor housing
Or rent it.
or rent it. Yeah.
Finally, for me this week, last week I put out the 10 reasons to play LOTRO. As I was saying, that video is basically me just writing the reasons why I keep coming back to my favorite MMO. And this weekend, essentially after this, I'm going to go and work on the video, the next part of that, which is some of the big issues and problems that I face playing LOTRO, which just sort of made me leave the game and come back anyway. So that's going to be my next video that I'm working on. So yeah.
Cool. All right, Maven, what have you been up to?
Well, I bought 2 houses. Am I on?
Yeah,
Two
you good?
houses?
Am I?
Two
I bought
houses.
2 houses. Yeah,
Wow.
next door to each other. Well, I have 2 VIP accounts, so each one of them got a house. And
Are you gonna rent one out?
actually, I hadn't thought of it, but maybe I will. That's not a bad idea. They're next door to each other, and I had already scoped out the addresses, that I wanted when I was on Bull Roar, so that was kind of cool. And
You could
I
rent it
was
out
so
to Terry.
excited. I was so excited about getting into, to get my houses that I ended up spelling T all over my keyboard on my gaming computer. So there's that.
Oh,
That happened.
man.
Then we did the Rift, one of the fundraising goals. We had hit our 2,500 fundraising goal back during the Grifflet-thon for Signum University, and so the Rift was the instance, because Corey said, well, I'll do whatever instance everybody wants to do. So everybody's like, the Rift. So we went and did the Rift, and we had a combination. He ran Wigan and not Grifflet, so I don't think anybody was on level for it. We were all over level, but we had a sprinkling of people from like the 60s up to level cap, and we only had like a couple level cap people. Anyway, so we ran through, and everything went pretty well. Let's see, I'm trying to remember if there were any high moments. It is. I think it's up on. I don't know if it's on YouTube yet or not, but it should be on the Signum U Twitch channel archives. But at the end, we made friends with the Everseer because one of the level capped hunters burned down the Balrog too fast, and the Everseer stayed up. So what do you do when you make friends with the boss? You take selfies. So we took pictures with the Everseer, who was making all kinds of gestures and things. That was pretty funny. And then I spent a good part. I'm actually going really slowly through update 19. I don't feel the need to have a race to the end. I don't feel a need to make sure I get all the titles and all that good stuff. And so I'm really savoring going through it, which means that last week I actually spent a lot of time shedding tears on the Pelennor fields.
Yeah.
Because of what you have to do after the battle and helping everything and everybody. And one of the things for me, it's reading the book and reading the in the Return of the King, the poem for the Mounds of Munberg, where they basically do the roll call of the people lost in the battle, is one thing, because I have no connection to those names. Having gone through LOTRO, and I know those guys, I know them, and going through and kind of going through the roll call and who has been lost, and thinking about all that. Oh my gosh. And of course, and I don't think this is going to be a spoiler if to anybody that's read the book, I cried the most at the same point of this as I cry the most in the book, which is at Snowmane's grave. So anyway, that was really sad. But anyway, that was my week in Lotro. Pine Leaf.
All right. We'll begin with my Brandywine Warden, who completed Skirmisher of Middle-earth finally. Yay on that. So that was...
how many times now, Pineleaf?
Well, let's see. That would be my 6th Warden to complete it.
I know, I'm kind of like, oh,
Holy
ho,
cow.
another Skirmisher of Middle-earth, Pine Leaf.
So let's remember, that's his 6th Warden. Not his 6th character, 6th Warden.
Yeah,
You are
so many
crazy,
characters in that
Pineleaf.
total.
Right, because I do have one of each of the other classes that's also done it.
So that's like 15 characters.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Why? Why? Why?
Well, I wanted to do it on at least one
On at least
every...
6 Wardens?
Well, it was mainly one of each class, but then because I have a Warden on each of the U.S. servers plus on Laurelin, I had to do it.
Brannick in the chat says, why? Because he is the Skirmisher of Middle-earth.
Well, all right. Then on Gladden, my Warden reached 105.
Congrats, Pineleaf.
So
Congrats.
that's finally all of... So therefore, all of my main Wardens are now at 105 and Skirmisher of Middle-earth. So that's finally done. And
Crazy.
then
That's
on
crazy.
Crick Hollow, my Warden completed Volume 4 of Book 7, which is the new part of the epic storyline, and I finished up the stuff near the pavilion, the stuff on the Pelennor Fields, plus I've gotten, I guess, about halfway through the content for Osgiliath also.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just getting ready to go into Osgiliath, and I'm excited.
Whee! So let's head into news beyond Lotro. And J.R. Tolkien's Beren and Luthien to be published in 2017. This is supposed to be the definitive book on Beren and Luthien, because there have been enough things already published on that subject, I believe, once or twice.
Well, this is actually Christopher Tolkien, publishing it, and I guess it's basically a compilation of all the various versions of the story that his dad wrote, and Alan Lee's illustrations. So it's as Corey said yesterday, it's not a scholarly work. It's more like Children of Hurin. It's a story. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I saw a meme on Facebook that said, even though he's been dead for 40 years, Tolkien is still publishing more books than J.R.R. Martin, George R.R. Martin.
Well, what's interesting, though, isn't this supposed to be for the 100th anniversary of the writing of the original version of the story?
Probably. Yeah, that's right. It probably is, actually, because that's right. It was like when he was in during the war.
Yeah.
That's right. I cynical me, of course, this is certainly not on Christopher's mind, but there's been always this talk about as soon as The Hobbit was done, there was all this, whoa, so Jackson, when are you going to do the film version of the Silmarillion? And the Silmarillion, I don't care, even if there wasn't resistance from the estate, that's just not an easy book to adapt. But Beren and Luthien, that would make a good movie adaptation.
Oh yeah,
So-
if there's any part of the
Yeah,
of the Silmarillion that would
that
would
be
lend
it.
well to a movie, it would be Beren and Luthien.
Absolutely. So it may not, it won't be happening while Christopher's alive, but the next generation on may be happy to allow that. So it's gonna be interesting to see as time. But I'm really excited for it to come out. I think it'd be awesome. Because actually, the story that didn't make it into the published Silmarillion, there's a couple versions of it that are much longer, so there's a lot more detail to it. So I'm really good. It's going to be fun to have them all in one place. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, we're done. Yeah. So that's something to get as soon. I'm sure it'll be made well known to everyone as soon as that is published.
I just wish I could buy it here in Malaysia. I'll probably have to order if I can't.
Oh, you'll probably have to order it. Oh, and I guess you get things like that shipped from Australia or something.
Most probably, yeah.
Yeah. We currently have 23 supporters here on Patreon. If you would like to join this illustrious raid of players to help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you could support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us here on LOTRO Players News. And if you would like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers, and Dang at AndDangLP, Carvette @CarvetteLP, Maven @TokenMaven, Pineleaf @PineleafNeils, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. And where can they reach you? And where could they reach our guests? And
I don't know, Pineleaf.
yeah.
Where can they find you, Haffle?
Yeah, Haffle. Yes, where could you?
Well, on Twitter for anything LOTRO, you can find me at Haffelheim, and on YouTube for any of the game reviews that I do or any MMO, even LOTRO content in the future, you can check me out at Game Reviews Malaysia.
All right. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News on Thursdays at 8 to 9-ish p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have XP Quest on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have LOTRO Players News, and on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Academy After School. You can join us for live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Pineleaf News reminding you to skirmish responsibly.